Welcome to the Reseller Show with your hosts, Andy Lawrence and Kevin Blackburn.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Reseller Show.
And my name is Kev Blackburn.
How's it going, guys? I hope you're doing fine and dandy this evening. We're having fun trying out some new intros and messing about with some live things here. So hopefully we're all up and running properly and we're actually broadcasting live this evening.
Yeah, we're trying some new software, so we're going to see how it goes. We're going to see how it all comes together. Can you hear me all right, Andy?
I can hear you just fine. I think when you plugged your headphones in, it took a second to sync, so I don't know whether we got you originally, but I can certainly hear you now, which is the main thing.
Brilliant. And I can see that there's Danny in the chat. So we are live. We've got 5 people in the chat so far. Let us know that you're there. We're going through a bit of transitional period with the Reseller Show because we've got a brand new team member that's come in. A brand new team member in Desir, and really looking forward to seeing how everything goes. And really looking forward to it, Andy.
Yeah, absolutely. As always, looking forward to it. So who have we got in the chat this evening? We've got Chris is in straight away. Yo. How's it going, Chris? Good to see you. Sean's in. It's working. Amazing. Sam's in. How's it going, Sam? Golden Ladies is in. Golden Ladies TV. Okay. Ignore the handle.
So what I'm going to do for you, Justin, just for this, because I'm testing this new software, I'm going to add your handle to the broadcast, so everybody can see that now.
In big letters, ignore the handle. Sorry, we've just totally told everyone it now, Justin. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Excellent. Simon's in as well. Good to see you. Good to see you, Simon. That's excellent. All right, so we've got quite a few people joining us already, so that's good. So the main thing is we're live, so that's the first hurdle overcome. So what are we going to be chatting about this evening then, Mr. Kevin Blackburn?
A couple of things. We're going to talk a little bit of some updates that Amazon have made to Amazon Seller Central, and some Meltables. And if you guys have got any questions, please don't hesitate to shoot your questions in. We are trying to format the show for the best possible for you guys, to cover some good news and some hot topics, and get questions, and just as always, have a general conversation.
Absolutely. And if you have any golden ladies that you'd like on TV, then please get in touch with Justin in the chat. I'm sure he'd be happy to help you. I don't know what that is. I have no idea what that is. Oh, dear. Tim's in as well. How you doing, Tim? Good to see you. All righty. I'm feeling like a meltable this evening because the sun is shining through my office window here, and it's heating up something chronic, which I shouldn't be complaining about really, because it's lovely to see the sun. It's proper hot down here this evening, so it's good. But yes, I may be stripping off in a minute. It's getting pretty warm. But talking about Meltables, what is the Meltables news we have for everyone?
So as you guys will most likely know at this point, Amazon, they throughout the summer months, they don't like melting chocolate in their warehouses. It causes all sorts of problems, apparently. So basically what they're doing is they've requested us all to sort of remove anything that's classed as a meltable. So like the obvious, like chocolate and things. And I believe, I don't have the exact dates for you, but I think it was the 15th of May. That was the deadline. So at that point there, if you've not sold, they're just going to put everything as sort of unfulfillable, which could cause an issue. And I actually think we should have probably talked about this a few weeks ago, because I think the deadline to actually get some removal orders was maybe the 1st of May as well. So so there's just something to think about. But yeah, that's the news. That was all that was about that, really. I don't know if you guys sell any chocolate and what have you, so...
Yeah, Sean's just saying, help, stuck with meltable chocolate. Will Amazon warn me before they chuck them? Possibly. I'd probably, at this stage, by the sounds of it, or past that deadline, well worth getting in touch with seller support and just saying, what's the scenario? Can I still do a removal order? If you can't, Sean, I'll give you my address and you can send all the chocolate to my house personally, and I'll make sure it is removed carefully to somewhere where I'll look after it and take good care of it, so I haven't got to worry.
So Amazon are not just going to chuck them. They're going to, if anything, they'll just mark them as unfulfillable, which obviously means that they're not available for sale, but they're not just going to chuck them, Sean. So one of the things I would recommend is most likely submit a case into Amazon and ask them, could you give me a list of all items in my inventory right now that you're classing as meltables, and then that would give you a list, which would be useful.
Wow, yeah, that's handy. Danny's saying he's completely forgot he's got around 8 boxes of Slim Fast with bars there, so yes, that may be something that you may have issues with.
Like I said, it's one of those things where I don't know exactly how on the ball Amazon are with this. On the 15th, they just class everything. I don't know, but it's good. It's always good to just submit a case, put a case in, see what's happening, see where you're at, see what the status is, and then then you're in a much better position to actually to take action in some way. Simon's saying he's always avoided chocolate. Well, throughout the winter months, they're fantastic, especially at Christmas. People love their chocolate at Christmas and Easter.
I wish I could avoid chocolate, Simon. That would make my life so much easier. I've got tons of chocolate gags. Don't worry, I'm here all night.
And then the other bit of news, the other bit of news was to do with Amazon making some Amazon Seller Central changes. I don't know whether you guys have noticed this, but Amazon are always changing things on Amazon Seller Central. And one of the things that we try to do is try to keep up to date by just having a scan around Seller Central just to see if there's any brand new shiny buttons anywhere. And there was a couple of new screens that I want to sort of point in your guys' directions. And one of them was, let me get this right, it was under Account Health, and then it's called Voice of the Customer. Voice of the Customer. And basically what this is going to show you, this is only in beta right now, but what that's going to show you, it's going to look at all your listings, everything that you've sold, and anything that the customer now has the ability to give feedback. And the way they give feedback is through their experience. So if they've got a very poor experience, they'll report that. A poor experience, a fair experience, a good experience, or a excellent experience. So everything that you're selling comes with some voice of the customer, and that's actually quite good because it will allow you to it will show you if there's any products that are causing you a bad experience for the customer. Because if there's a bad experience for the customer, and I looked at mine and there was one listing that was classed as very poor, and then what you can do, you can actually look into it, and it goes through and says there's action required and what you can do, and you can have a look at it, and it's actually quite beneficial for us, this information, because obviously we want to make sure that we're like fair at the very least. Like, you want to be good or excellent. That's going to be something useful for you to look at. So that is, if you go to the Performance Account Health and then just go to the right hand side, you'll see Voice of the Customer. And then there was another one. Let me get this right. If you click into your, I believe it is under Inventory and then Inventory Planning, there's a brand new nice little section called Performance Index. And the Performance Index, it gives you a score. And this score is actually a really, really good move by Amazon. Basically, if you click into it, you get a score from 0 to 1,000, I believe. 0 being terrible and 1,000 being really, really good. And to how they score you is on some important factors. So if you've got any excess inventory, they'll give you a score for that. Any how quickly you're selling through your items, they give you a score for that. Stranded inventory, they give you a score for that. They give you some in-stock inventory, that's a score as well. And they crunch all this information, they give you an overall score. You can then look into all these scores, and then it will show you where you can improve, which is really, really really good for you to improve your business. Okay, so in my case, I'm looking at my excess inventory percentage, my FBA sell-through, my stranded inventory, and I can see like a lot of my popular stock is just running out too quickly. So Amazon is saying that we want to be staying in stock more, and that's really useful information just from a replenishing point of view, from your the quantity choices that you're making before you're actually placing orders with stores or wholesalers or whatever. This information is actually quite good. I don't know if it's going to stay around because it is all new and beta and stuff, but I do like the fact that Amazon are trying to give us information to improve our business.
Absolutely. It's all really useful information. And as you say, if you can delve deep into the things that you can do better, it's always going to be a useful data metric. So, yeah. Danny says, apparently I need to restock more. Yeah, arbitrage problems does happen. But yeah, that's it's great. Really useful to be able to actually look beneath the surface a little bit more and see that sort of information. Any more sort of data is always going to be useful to see how you can tweak things for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just good for because Amazon they give you a lot of data. And a lot of the data is really good, but sometimes it's quite difficult to consume. Like, they don't give you it in a very good format. They might give you this spreadsheet that's like a CSV, and like it's like, do you know what I mean? It's like really difficult to see what it all means. But when I saw this performance index, and it's very, very clear, it's like, people like myself can understand it, red, amber, green, I can actually understand this is green, this is a good thing. That's red, I need to look at red. Do you see what I mean? So
where you are. Yeah, it's easy to understand. Yeah, that makes life a lot easier for sure. Simon says, should we delete older listings, do you think? So Simon, are you talking about the listings that you might have finished selling and you're not planning to go back? It's always a question that comes up regularly. I don't think there's any definitive answer there, but certainly in America, Amazon have been said to have been not liking the fact they're sort of looking at items that have no longer got items stock in them as something as a bad thing. So certainly in the US, they've been deleting older listings. I don't think it's the case here, but it may do one day, and it just makes things a little bit neater if you know they're not going back into stock. So yes, there's pluses and minuses really, I suppose. So do you go and delete all your old items you're not bringing back, or do you just keep them for a certain period of time, Kev? What's your plans with that?
There's it's a good point, to be honest, Simon, because there is some pros and cons to deleting or keeping. There are pros and cons to both. So a very serious con to keeping older listings is if, for example, an older listing that you may have sold 6 months ago and a year ago, if that then becomes restricted, you will get a notification for that. And then if you don't have a system in place to obviously resolve whatever that restriction is, let's say you didn't delete the item, you could have a scenario where you are potentially, worst case scenario, suspended for something that's just in your account, but it was a year ago that you sold it. Do you see what I mean? And this is one of the things that I've always had a problem with Amazon, because Amazon have the ability to remove, delete, do anything that they want with our stock. But that is a con when it comes to saving all your historical data. And just to put you guys in perspective, I think I had something like 44,000 different products just in the history of of our Seller Central account. So there's a lot of stock there, and that's one of the problems why you would have maybe performance notification errors and things that come along, and you've not sold it for a long time. But a pro of that would be you've got information to look at, like you've got a history of those particular items which you can export through reports, for example, and you can use for whatever you may want, like a replenishable system. I've mentioned before, one of the things that we do is we do some bulk replenishing every 3 months. At Christmas, we definitely do. We look over the past 6 to 12 months, and then obviously that history is useful. But there is pros and cons. It's completely up to yourself.
Yeah, I think that sums it up really. It does depend on which way you look at it, but yeah, maybe this whole account health thing is a move to going more into that direction, that they're going to want you to get rid of them more. But we just have to wait and see how that all pans out in the long run, I guess. But yeah, who knows how that turns out? But certainly, when you get to the point where you've got that many listings and that many potential issues to come back just as a result of having something sat there in your inventory, it certainly gives you something to think about for sure. Yeah. Stephen Davis is in. Good to see you, Stephen. First time watching the Reseller Show live. Good to have you on, Stephen. 7 p.m. is a bit early for me, so I'm a little late. No, it's good to have you on at any time. You can jump on board. It's always good to have you on board, Stephen. So thanks for joining us. We appreciate you.
Great to have you guys here. Great to have you. It's like always, we look forward to this show. And one thing I did want to mention, and we didn't. It was great to have you here, Justin, the Golden Ladies TV, because he had his first sale past Saturday, and we mentioned last week's show that we want to celebrate a lot more when it comes to significant milestones. And Justin was kind enough to share his first sale with the mastermind group and the Facebook, which is awesome. So congratulations to you, Justin. I hope you celebrated whichever way you wanted to celebrate with your Golden Ladies TV.
Yes, I'm sure you're really going to suffer now, I'm afraid, Justin, as a result of that. Sorry, mate. It's just one of those things. But yes, I hope you enjoyed it. And for the sake of getting your first sale, I think that deserves a golden ring on the bell, especially for a golden bell for a golden ladies. I'm going to stop talking now because that's going to sound very strange.
Yeah. This is a good question from Tim. Let me add to broadcast. Here we go. This is a good one for you, Andy. If you had your own brand and my own shop where we sell direct to public, is it also worth selling on Amazon?
If I had my own brand and my own
shop where we sell direct to public, is it also worth selling on Amazon?
Yeah, I guess what you're talking about, a bricks and mortar store. I can't see the question. That's probably why I'm struggling. Oh, that's handy. It's come up on the screen. So I say, if you had your own brand and my own shop where we can sell direct to the public, is it also worth selling on Amazon? So if you're talking about a physical shop or an e-commerce shop, either way, I think it's always worth selling on Amazon. I don't think there's a downside to it at all, Tim, to be honest with you. I don't think there's a point where it is not worth selling on Amazon. I'm just trying to get to grips with the question. A little bit more detail on that would be handy. But if you've got develop your own brand, and yes, you've got an e-commerce online shop, then absolutely, why not? It's another marketplace that obviously got a massive amount of eyes on the marketplace. So if you can create your own listing on there, it would be rude not to. I think, well, absolutely, give it a go, and you might be surprised. It may well overtake the sales you get from your online shop, and really take that, take off. And if it's your own brand and your own item, it's a unique item. I don't think you need to worry too much about competition. So, absolutely get it going. The sooner you get it going, the sooner you can build it up and get some reviews under your belt and potentially get some more sales. So absolutely, I would recommend that. Let's say go for it.
I totally agree. I think you've got to take advantage of every possible way nowadays that you can. Like, I think it's one of those things when it comes to Amazon. I can understand from a bigger point of view, like what happened with Toys R Us, for example. You know, we do have scenarios where big businesses like a Debenhams, for example, are they're just not evolving with the times. And ultimately, Amazon online shopping, it is the times. Like, that is where we're at. You know, even when you think of like an online supermarket like an Ocado, they're absolutely way ahead of the game when it comes to Ocado versus like the Tesco's and Asda's and stuff, because that's where the future's heading. So in our case, we may not be a big chain like a Tesco or something, but whatever we can sell, I would sell it wherever you possibly can, because ultimately sales means money for your business. So if you was to sell on Amazon, if you could have systems to sell on Facebook or eBay or wherever, really, your own Shopify store, whatever you can possibly take advantage of to make sales, I think that's where we're at. I think that's what ultimately us as a reseller community is. I think, yes, we are all, I guess 95% of us, we're all more Amazon side of things, but I think that we've all got to take advantage at some point, have the conversation, when do we go to another platform? I think it's a valid conversation to have.
Yeah, definitely. He just added some extra information, Tim, here. It says, we're an events company that sell races and e-commerce. Just wonder if margins are smaller. The margins would be smaller in the fact that you've got to give Amazon some money and fees and things like that. But if you wanted to raise your price to cover that, then there'd be no reason why you'd need to take less money if it's a unique product that you think will get extra sales on Amazon. Just to factor that into your pricing and absolutely give it a go. There's certainly no reason why not. It's definitely something to experiment with for sure. So yeah, go for it and keep us posted how you're getting on, Tim.
Definitely, Tim. And also what I will say is with something like an Amazon, a platform like Amazon, you then have the scalability. You know, obviously, I don't have all the information about your business right now when it comes to your events company. You're selling at races and things, which is fantastic. You're absolutely out there taking massive action, I'm sure. But when it comes to Amazon, for example, the scalability of your business could go to that next level just because of what they've got available. Now, obviously, I'm not 100% sure what resources you have available right now. But if it comes to like margins and things, like Andy said, you would just factor that in, especially if they're your own branded products and you're the only one that's selling them. You can then ultimately set the price whatever you want. You know, it's completely up to you. You can then factor in Amazon's, if you was to use FBA, which I'd probably recommend, or FBM. It's completely up to you, whatever suits your business. But in this case, I would use everything, and it would be fantastic to keep up to date with that.
Yeah, keep us posted, because why not? More eyes on your products means more opportunity to make money, and that's only got to be a good thing. I can't see any bad points coming out of that, so for sure. Right, so why don't we take, what should we do next? Should we take some more questions from the audience, or have we got some questions to ask on file from this week? Kev, what do you reckon?
Well, what I would say to you guys that are watching us in the chat, if you give us a thumbs up, would very, very appreciate it if you did give a thumbs up. I know that good old Sam, he's doing us some good work in the chat there. Appreciate you, Sam. And I also think we had a first time live for me too. Sol C 2011. I'm not 100% sure what your first name is, but it's great to have you here first time live, which is fantastic. It means that we're reaching more people, which is what it's all about.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's great. And it's yeah, good to have you. Good to have you here, and it'd be good to see you every week if you can make it, because the more regular viewers we get, the more opportunity to interact with you guys. I definitely think it's the more the merrier, and it seems like every week we're getting more people jumping on. So it's good to see for sure. Right, Nicholas Cooper has also joined us as well. Welcome, Nicholas. Maureen is the one that's come on live for us. Welcome, Maureen.
We had a question from Daniel Bateman this week, and he was basically talking about, does anyone who live outside the UK have issues purchasing from certain stores? Daniel lives in Vietnam, and Wilco was so hit and miss as to whether the order goes through or not. So it's a good question for us to cover, really. Andy, have you worked with many people when it comes to external from the UK and the US, somewhere like a Vietnam?
No, I haven't actually. It is an interesting situation. Dylan lives outside the US. I have issues purchasing from certain stores. Live Vietnam and Wilco's hit and miss. I mean, the other thing to think about, if that is the case and it's something you want to be doing on a regular basis, you've got software, VPN software that might actually help disguise your location and then allow you to bounce it off a server from the UK. For example, if you're trying to buy in the UK, you could use a server from the UK, in which case that would make your life easier. So that would be something to try, Daniel. I don't know if that is specifically the issue, whether it detects you coming from Vietnam and that is the issue, which I can imagine that makes sense. So, maybe look at some options for British VPNs that are not particularly expensive, and if that allows you to have less trouble buying from the stores, then maybe that's something you might want to try.
Yeah, good points there, Andy. And Nicholas in the chat here said that he lives in South Africa and he's not had many problems.
Okay.
And if the credit card was an issue, he would use PayPal. And PayPal's definitely something that's recognizable from everybody in the world at this point knows PayPal. So I would definitely check that, Daniel, just to see if PayPal would be better for you if you was getting an issue. And but yeah, if all else fails, give the stores a call. Like, just call them. Just go into their customer support and say, look, what's going on here? This is an issue. It's not going through. What's happening? And because at the end of the day, it's one of those things where online arbitrage or retail arbitrage it's one of those things where it might feel a little bit like, oh, am I doing something wrong here? Is this like, is it against the law or something? Because I'm like ordering so much from Disney, but it's not. Like, at the end of the day, It's not. Like, just give them a call if there's ever an issue. I've been on the phone to many stores. Just sort of just making my way through smaller little problems that we may have. And I shared the story of we had an issue one time with Tesco. When Tesco we were placing these orders and then there was a stock issue. So what happens with a grocery order is if you, let's say, place an order for 18 products and they only have like 2 on stock or in store that morning, they can only deliver 2. But you wanted 18. So I was like, right, we're gonna have to figure out what to do here. So I called Tesco up and I said, look, what's going on? I need more stock. And I went straight through to a lovely lady. She ended up being a part of like a senior management and was able to actually order in bulk. Just by having that conversation on the phone. So don't hesitate to. I know we talk about being on the phone a lot in wholesale, building relationships and things, but in many ways it's the same thing when it comes to retail arbitrage. You're talking to them in the store, or if you've got an issue with something online where an order's being cancelled, get on the phone and say, look, I don't understand why this is cancelling. and just ask them the question outright, and then they may be able to point you in the right direction. It might be as simple as just using PayPal, and then it was, oh yeah, if you use PayPal, it'll go through. Awesome.
Yeah. Good tips, absolutely. Yeah, Nicholas is just saying you do need a VPN for some sites as they don't load, but purchasing is about your credit card. So, yeah, interesting, useful. Now you said you're from South Africa, Nicholas. I recognise your name. I've been chatting to you this week, so good to have you on the live, and good to see you here. Useful information, and so if you're from another country, it might be that a VPN's useful, and obviously payment might be PayPal might be the way to go. So the community is already sorting us out with some tips there. So yeah, great help from Nicholas there. Sean's what's Sean got to say here? Tesco coming to mind. I always feel like I have to read Sean's questions first before I say it out loud, because you never know what you're gonna get. Okay, Sean's saying Tesco coming to mind any minute. I'll be outside with the phone still watching.
Yeah, Sean. He's Sean, top man. Sean. Sean is when we first was thinking about the Reseller Show, Andy said to me, he was like, "Look, I've got an idea with this show," and he was basically saying that how amazing would it be to have a show like a Reseller Show where we're just casually talking about things, and we can be in the background to people that are doing their Amazon businesses, or they're prepping products, or they're going out for a walk and things. And Sean, like every time the show is on, Sean's there prepping in his house, he's doing his thing, and now he's getting a Tesco order. So Sean is the perfect person who you wanted on the show, Andy. Yeah,
absolutely. He's the absolutely typical person that would be great. And I'm just envisioning Sean standing outside his house with his telephone, live streaming, probably in his boxer shorts and his socks. I don't know why, but that's how I'm envisioning. I hope he's got more clothes on than that, but I can just imagine him waiting for his Tesco delivery outside on the street with his phone live streaming. He said, "I'll try to get the driver to watch later. Every little helps." Excellent. Classic.
Brilliant.
Oh dear,
absolutely brilliant.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's great. It's always good fun when Sean's in the chat. And Matthew's in as well. Good to see you, Matthew. Better late than never. Best looking resellers on YouTube. Shorts. Oh, okay, he's got shorts on. That's good. Oh dear, excellent. Yeah, we should try and see if the technology allows us to pull Sean in while he's chatting to the Tesco delivery driver at the same time. That would be some.
That would be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would be some Academy Award-winning TV, I'm sure.
Yeah, that would be good. But I had another question come in. Let me see if I can get this image up on screen. And this was from. I 100% don't know how to pronounce that name. I'm terribly sorry. But it was basically talking about which platform do you use to pay VA from abroad? Would PayPal be a good option? Have you done many payment transactions to virtual assistants and things across the world and things, Andy? What platforms would you use?
I've just used PayPal in the past, to be honest with you. Okay, there we go. I can see the question as well. This new function is very useful, Kev. I must admit, we're making full use of it. Which platform do you use to pay your VA from abroad? Would you PayPal be good? I've used PayPal in the past. I don't know. I mean, what do you favour? You probably more experience with ongoing VA work as it happens, Kev. So what do you tend to use if you've got an ongoing relationship with a VA?
Well, when it comes to paying virtual assistants, the way I sort of see it is, it first goes from the phases that I see myself and how I work with virtual assistants is first protecting yourself, like in terms of payments. So something like an Upwork, if you was to hire through an Upwork, let's say you start a contract with a virtual assistant and that virtual assistant turns out to be terrible, or whatever reason they're not doing as you wanted it to do, or it's some type of fraud, or they've just taken your money, or they've not actually delivered the job. So going through a platform like an Upwork does give you that additional protection at the beginning. Just because if you were not very happy with that virtual assistant, you could then like go to Upwork and then they might be able to sort you out in some way. So that's how I usually start. And but then you can transfer over to sort of PayPal. So they can send you then invoices to PayPal, and obviously you do have some protection with PayPal as well. But there's a lot of fees involved. That's the problem when it comes to paying anybody, really. Like PayPal's obviously got fees. I'm not 100% sure what the fees are at this point. I think it's like 7% or something, which could obviously, it stacks up. And then ultimately for me, the next phase, from when we go past the security into the like a relationship phase, now we're trying to lower the fees as much as possible for your assistant to give them the most money that they have worked for and they deserve. There's nothing quite worse than, a virtual assistant is, you should be paid $1,000 because you've done some great work, and then a platform takes $100 of it just because you're going through a platform. So we ended up going, as the relationships go on, we ended up then doing sort of direct bank transfers from the bank, and then you've got a much lower percentage of fees. So there's definitely different options out there. It's completely your choice really what you end up using, but there's some options.
Excellent. Sorry, I'm getting distracted because Sean is good to his word. He's now live streaming his Tesco delivery on the Reseller Show Facebook group. Oh dear, excellent. I love it. What a diamond you are. Excellent. Anyway, let's get back to the questions. I'm getting far too distracted with Sean. Where was I?
Nicholas said Payoneer is a good option. It's free. So Payoneer, let me add that to broadcast as well. I'm liking this functionality that we've got here, Andy.
It is useful.
Just to add stuff. We're gonna over the next few weeks, we're gonna try working out how this is working and try adding some cool images and some good things for you. But Nicholas, he just said that Payoneer is great as it's free from Payoneer to Payoneer. So there's always an option right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And are we here? Excellent. Very useful. We just noticed Richard Martin is in the chat there as well. Good to have you. Sorry, I'm joking. That's another inside joke. Martin's on board. Good to have you in, Martin. I called him Richard today. He hasn't let me forget it. Unfortunately, it does happen when you're a senior citizen like I am. I do get people's name wrong, so I apologise, Martin. I did know your name, really, honestly.
I think Maureen had a great one here. Maureen, it's great to have you on the first show, Maureen. Let me add this to broadcast as well. Basically, Maureen was saying, I run a small eBay store without using any debt. Want to do the same for FBA, so I can't wait before getting a return on investment. But how long for a product to sell?
Want to do the same for FBA. I'm sorry, I'm still catching up. So I can wait before getting a return on investment. How is too long for product to sell? I'm not sure I understand the question.
I think Maureen, from how I'm reading it, so you run a small eBay store and without debt, which is fantastic, and now you want to do the same with FBA, and you're looking at the lead time between you selling your products, like sourcing, making available and selling, and that ultimately comes down to what you're selling. It comes down to the data. I don't know if you are selling brand new products, so if this is maybe your own eBay store with your own items, like a private label type thing, or a arbitrage type thing. So it's slightly different. So I think one of the things that would be good to know is what the business model is that you're referring to, because if it is a private label, Obviously, if you are just launching brand new products on Amazon, that could be a long time if you don't 100% know what you're doing, if there's no demand there. You know, we're starting talking PPC, we're talking all different things because it's private label. So if you're creating your own listing, you have no data. There's nothing to compare it to, really. Yes, you have like obviously the search terms and you can look at in comparison to see whether there's any demand there. But when it comes to arbitrage, let's say your eBay store, you're just reselling, then we're looking at the data. That's how online arbitrage and retail arbitrage and wholesale works. We're looking at the data. We're looking at the history of sales. We're looking at the history of the prices to see what the price has been. We're using real sales to determine what our quantity should be. So I think if that answers the question, hopefully, if you want it to sell quicker, you're looking for products to make available that have obviously got a higher rate of sales, because then you know you're lowering your risk, basically. You've gone from private label, when you launch a private label product, which is brand new, yes, you can do as much research as you can. Yes, you can have a launch strategy, but it's all a case of lowering the amount of risk. And arbitrage is fantastic for that, because you can really lower the risk by looking at how many sales it's had, what the price has been. I think, does that answer it?
Yeah, I think it answers it very comprehensively, Kev, actually. Very good. You got more understanding out of that than I did. But yeah, that's basically the thing you have to understand is the velocity of the item, sales velocity of the item, and decide whether it's fast profits or more profits and slightly slower sales. But that comes down to personal preferences ultimately. But yeah, you've got to make the decision based on the data. That's what it comes down to. Sam says the 16 people watching and only 6 likes. Sam is definitely the warden when it comes to likes, and we appreciate you every week for doing that, Sam. That's very true. Now, we did ask earlier, so obviously there's only a fraction of people who are watching lives has actually hit the like button. So do us a favour
and hit the like button.
Doesn't take much.
I mean, we're only asking for an hour of your time, an hour of your life. I mean, surely that could be a like button.
Absolutely. Come on. Oh, dear. So Matt says, Andy, you've been out in the sun. I was yesterday out in the sun. Matt, it might be just the temperature in this office. The sun is streaming through my office window right now, and I'm heating up by the second. So that might just be my internal body temperature, Matt, rather than a suntan. But yes, I was out in the sun by the river yesterday, and I may have caught the sun a little bit more. I'm like you. I've got Irish skin. I'm half Irish, so I go from white to red, back to white again, generally in the sun. So I don't particularly tan very well.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Andy, if all you guys want to know what happens to me, I go from this colour to my t-shirt colour, completely black. Yeah. Some people at night, they walk past me and I don't know why.
Oh dear, it's all good fun.
Yeah. Yeah. We talk about all sorts of things on the Reseller Show. Welcome.
Suntans and everything. Absolutely. No questions. Well, there probably are some questions that aren't shouldn't be asked, but we'll have a go anyway. We'll see how we get on. But yeah, Matt's even bringing his postman beef into the chat. You can't bring your postman beef into the Reseller Show. You'll have to keep that in your own group, Matt, I think. But he says I'm an 8th Irish. Yeah, it's not good. We don't tan well in the sun, I'm afraid, Matt. But after about a month, I start to go brown. After about a month or 3 years. But yeah, I do need more time in South Africa, Nicholas. But yeah, that African sun, I generally hide from it because. Yeah, that will get you. If I go this colour in the British sun, then the South African sun does tend to ravage me, I'm afraid. But yeah,
it's been lovely weather. It has. It's been really nice weather. Really looking forward to getting out there again and just seeing some more sunshine, some pools, some water, and getting abroad again.
Absolutely.
Can't wait to go abroad again.
Yeah. Well, so, Matt's off. I think Matt's off next week. I think to sunnier climes. I'm going to somewhere just outside Marseille. Where are we? May, June next month. I'm going to somewhere just outside Marseille, and then Los Angeles in August. So I've got a couple lined up in the next few months, which I'm looking forward to. Not long now. Are you going anywhere soon, Kev? You got anything lined up?
We're currently looking at, there was a couple of options for us. We were potentially looking at going out to Bali area because we've never been out there before.
Beautiful.
But we then started talking the last couple of weeks and months. We're potentially going to Santorini. We went to the Greek islands last year. Fantastic. I absolutely love Greece. We ended up going to Zante and Crete. In the space of like a month, which is awesome because we just wanted to see the Greek islands are fantastic, and we really want to go to Santorini and Mykonos because those two islands would be amazing. So potentially going Santorini in August. But the problem with this, I've got now a bit of an issue because I think it's the 13th of August where we've got the Super Cup final, which is potentially Liverpool and someone like an Arsenal because it's like the Champions League and the Europa League. So that's in Istanbul in Turkey. So who knows?
Got some plans. That's the main thing. Got some plans. That's good. Yeah. So Matt says he's off on Thursday. Good for you, Matt. I'm sure you'll enjoy yourself. Sam said he's also off to France. Excellent. You'll have to let me know and we can hook up and have a beer. That would be very good. Simon's off to the Isle of Man TT. I'm very jealous in a couple of weeks. Can I come too, Simon? I'll bring my Honda Melody. You might have to wait for me, but I'll catch you up.
Nice.
Yeah, that'd be good. Stephen says, are you lot drug mules in and out of the country every fortnight? That's what it's all about, Stephen. That's what, well, not importing and exporting drugs, but yeah, traveling. It's that's what it's all about. You've got to get out there. I've got at least 3 or 4 more in me this year, if not a bit more. I might do another cheeky one as well.
I mean, that's what the Reseller Show is all about.
Absolutely.
That's what we've been doing, reselling drugs.
Oh, the keywords are going to be terrible on YouTube.
Oh God, yeah. YouTube are going to get the FBI on us.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to get banned already. Oh dear, excellent. No, it's been good. It's been another interesting session this evening. Actually, he said Sam did ask a question above if you could take a peek. That's the trouble. There's been so many comments, Sam. I apologise.
Yeah.
Let's see. Where did we go back? No excuses. Let us know, Sam, how we're doing on the like count. Can we have a like update, Sam, just so you can keep us posted? Oh, it says it down there. 12. There we go. I can answer my own question. 12. We're getting better. We're getting a lot better.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find your question.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find it as well. Maybe you could repost it. It'd be quicker, Sam. That'd be handy.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. If you like, by the way, we appreciate you. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, and what would help as well, guys, just because we are trying to learn, we're trying to learn how to do this a little bit better for you guys every week. If you did have a question, it would help us most likely if you was to put like in capital letters like question, because then it's easy to see in the chat because the chat's always going, and especially with this software now, I can add to broadcast. So if I see a question, I can add it to the broadcast. Yeah,
absolutely, very useful. And yeah, Stephen says you could have told me sooner. Have you ever tried bundling drugs together? No, Stephen. Funnily enough, I've never tried bundling drugs together.
No,
that's a totally different type of bundling course that you've been on, obviously.
Yeah. I'm just trying to find his question. I don't think. Here we go. Sean says, who's looking forward to Q4?
Yeah, always. Every year.
Always looking forward to Q4, Sean. I mean, it is... What are we now? We're in mid-May, so we're nearly 6 months of the year. which means we're getting towards the best half of the year, which is a great thing. Really, it's an exciting time because I think we've got Prime Day. When's Prime Day? July. We've got Prime Day to look forward to. That's when Amazon obviously used Prime Day as an opportunity to get more Prime buyers, which is always a good thing for us. I don't know what the statistics are at this point in terms of how many Prime sellers that they've got, but the end of the year is always a great thing because Prime Day has a big influx of all these people that start becoming Prime buyers, Prime members, and now we have that lead up from when people go back to school. Really, that September. When do you sort of start to see a big increase, Andy? It's really like September, people going back to school, October, and then late November when we start going towards sort of Black Friday, early December. I mean, it's just crazy. Then, Sean, I would throw everything in there. I would ship yourself, put yourself in a box, and get yourself to Amazon.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. There's definitely a few few key points in Q4 where it just starts to spike. But yeah, kids going back to school, people seem to be getting more and more prepared earlier and earlier. It seems to be getting on Amazon. People are thinking, oh, it's coming up to that stage, and people start just a slow increase and then a few spikes, and then it really kicks off. But Sam has reposted his question, by the way, so you can bring that up if you've seen that, Kev. Once a seller account has been opened, is it easy enough to open other seller accounts, i.e. .com? I have a wholesaler in the States, but I'm thinking to sell in USA instead of shipping it here. Yeah, well, Amazon.com is a totally different site to the UK, so you have to open that as a separate thing. It's a separate entity, so yeah, you set it up as a totally different platform. But why not, Sam? Yeah, I don't see why you shouldn't give that a go. If it looks like it's going to sell well, obviously you've got the data there, so if it looks like it's going to be a winner, there's enough items in the States that's going to be a winner for you. Why not give it a go? Open a site and see how you get on. I've always personally steered clear of the US. No reason particular, just to try and focus on one area myself, so I don't have a lot of experience with selling on Amazon.com. But yes, if there seems to be money and it looks like you can do it, then why not give it a go? No reason why not. Have you done much on Amazon US, Kev?
We did actually start there. Yeah, we didn't start there. We did launch about 6 months after I started. This was sort of like the January/February when I just quit the job. I actually opened a seller account in the US, got some sales there, but at the time I was very much heavily involved in my business, so I was like trying to grow two businesses at once, like UK and US, so we ended up focusing just on the UK. But one thing that I did want to mention to you, Sam, I don't know how this works because I haven't spent too much time in here, but if you do go into your Seller Central account and under the, I believe when you go to the, let me get this right, there's a section down on the bottom left or bottom right, depending on where you've got your little widgets, that will basically talking about listing globally. And when you open that page up, there is a page that says sell globally. And under that, you do actually have options for North America, Europe, Japan, India, and I think this is what we've mentioned this before, Andy. I think where Amazon are heading are like a global market. Now, I'm not suggesting that you can open your account through here, but you might be able to. Who knows? There is a section here that says linked accounts. Okay, so if I was to click on, there's an option for me to click on North America. So if I was to click on that, it may give me the option, do you want to open another account? Do you see what I mean? And then it's all in one dashboard then, because I can see here, if I wanted to, I've got my sales summary, I can go on to, I can click on the US. Now I've not made any sales in the US, but it's showing me I've got no sales in the US. Do you see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So
yeah.
The same as Canada, the same as India. There's an option here for Japan, basically saying here, here we go, look. separate monthly professional selling plans. There's an option for I have an Amazon.co.jp account. This is Japan. Yeah. Or there's another option saying create an Amazon.co.jp selling account, and it's then giving me the option to register, which is a good thing, really, because if you think about it, now if you've already got a seller's account here in Europe and you create one through the one that you've got in Europe, they've got more information about you. And the chances are far greater, I'd imagine, instead of just opening just a brand new one.
Yeah, that sounds very useful. I think that must have been something that's happened in recent times, because it certainly used to be a totally separate thing. But it makes sense, talking about it now, that they would have some option to integrate it and have it separated, but at the same time under the same account. That just makes perfect sense to me. So yeah, check it out, Sam. You might be able to do it that way.
Just to add a little bit more for you, just for any of you guys that are interested, it's basically saying that the next steps here, after you register, so let's say I wanted to register in India, after you register for an Amazon.in selling account, you can create Amazon.in listings for your European products. Okay, so they will most likely, just like they do out for Spain, Italy, France, Germany, they will most likely do that translation for you. Now, what would be interesting, and I think I'm going to put a case in about this. What would be interesting is how once you do register and it's saying you can create your listings for your European products, I'm wondering where do they store the products? Is this an option potentially? Who knows? This could literally be a potential to open an India account, and then Amazon are willing to ship from the UK to India. I have no idea. Not a clue.
Yeah. Well, they've got to start somewhere. If they're opening up new markets like that, I think they'd probably be very keen to just try and get as many items on the marketplace as they can. So maybe they might have some options there. It might be an interesting question to ask for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. I think, as you say, it's going that way. The more sites Amazon are opening up almost on a weekly basis, it feels like they're moving into new territory. So I could easily see it becoming an integrated thing where you just list your items on the marketplace, and then it's just available everywhere just by default. And then you can just get sent out by their global shipping program, and that's it. It just goes out. So I could easily see that coming in the future. So
I'll show this. I'll show this screenshot here. I've just added the screenshot. I've just taken the screenshot from Seller Central, which basically just said gives you the option to open an India account, the same thing for a Japan account, the same thing for a North America account, and after you register, you can create your listings for your European products. Which that in itself, if somebody does that, and I'm going to put that to the team, we're going to talk about that afterwards. I'll put myself a note with that myself. It would be interesting to follow this through just to see. Imagine that you could just sell in India this week just by going through this process. I mean, mind blown.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Very cool. And after you register on Amazon selling account, you're great. Yes, amazing. Yeah, really useful. That I'd be interested to hear. What that develops in the next few weeks. We'll keep you posted on that, because that's fascinating, isn't it? What other markets can be opened up very quickly with a few clicks. Yeah, really interesting. Very cool.
Good. Imagine that. Like, imagine you being able to open right now for India, Japan, North America, and if you don't have to do anything other than just keep shipping to UK fulfillment centers, and you just potentially get sales in India, I mean, you've now got the potential to have a fantastic Q3 and Q4 just by a few clicks. And I quite like those types of actions. I quite like those actions where you just do a couple of smart clicks and it just has a quantum leap in your business. That's my type of massive action right there.
Absolutely. Love it. Very cool. Right. So we're over the hour mark now, so we'll begin to wrap it up if you've got any last questions. KP's just said here, with 23 kilo now being the max, don't ship more than 15 kilos in one go. If you had 45 kilos to send, it would cost £15.24, 3 lots of £5.08. If you divided it into 3 15-kilo boxes, but £23.26 if you sent it in 2 boxes. Very good tip, KP, for jumping in that one. This is very interesting point. Now they've obviously changed the maximum weights. There's a lot of changes going on with box weights because they've got a new goods in handling machines and things like that that don't like the heavier boxes. So yeah, that's an interesting tip. So yeah, great advice, I think.
Yeah.
Thanks for your comment.
Thank you. Well,
right.
Shall we wrap up?
I think it's a good time to wrap up. We've hit the hour mark. We've covered a lot of subjects now. So absolutely. Thanks, guys, for watching. We've had a record number of people on again this evening. It seems to be getting more every single week, which is fantastic to see. We appreciate you. Thanks for spending the hour with us. It's always great fun. The comments are hilarious. Thank you, guys, for jumping on and having fun with us. Thoroughly enjoying it, and hopefully we can be helping you out at the same time, and we can all learn and grow together. So thanks for coming, guys. Don't forget, same time next week on a Monday at 7 p.m. live on YouTube every single week. That's how we do it. So unless you've got anything to add, Kev, we'll wrap it up this evening from here.
No, nothing to add. Just one final tip. If you guys got any questions throughout the week, make sure that you use the Reseller Show Facebook group. Any questions, any topics, anything that you want us to cover, if you comment into the groups, we will capture that, because we're like I said at the start of the show, we are starting to get better at our production. It's a little bit. This has been the first show where we've done it differently. So we've had the ability to put comments up on screen and things. So we are getting there. We are working through it. But, keep with us. And, looking forward to the next week's show. And thanks, as always, for you guys with a thumbs up, engages, and shares, of course.
Yeah, appreciate it. All right, guys, take care. Thanks for coming as usual. And we'll see you this time next week. Cheers, guys.
See you later.
See ya.
This is where it's like